Hello viewers and welcome to the lesson. This is Mathematics Paper 2. We continue revising for the forthcoming KCSE examinations. We shall go through all the questions in this paper. We begin with section A. Don't forget to get the paper. I'll give the link to this paper in the description so that you can download the paper and you can try it at your own time. Let's go to section A of the paper. Answer all the questions, 50 marks. A school bursar wishes to obtain the sum of the following amounts of money paid in as school fees for the 3 students by the CDF: 20,760, 49,105, 17,352. The bursar estimates the sum by first rounding each of the amounts to 3 significant figures. Determine the percentage error in the estimated sum. So these are questions on errors. So these amounts that are given here, they were estimated by rounding them each to 3 significant figures. So we are going to round off the first one, 20,760. 20,760, you round this one to 3 significant figures. So you need it up to 1, 2, 3, up to that point. So 3 significant figures, you check this digit 6. If it is a 5 or more, you know what to do. You add 1 to 7. So this will give 208, and then the others will be zeros. And then the other one is 49,105. 49,105. You round off this one as well. So you did it up to that point. So these will be the next digit. I can see this one is 0. The digit is 0. So this one rounded correct to 3 significant figures to be 491,00. And then the other one is 17,352. 17,352. We look at this digit here. This is 5. So we have to add 1 to round this one upwards. 174. 174,00. So those are the amounts rounded off correct to 3 significant figures. So now we get the sum. We get the sum of these. You simply add. So 20,800 plus 4,100. These are 40. Okay, 20,800 plus 49,100 plus 17,400. So this one gives 87,300. 87,300. That is the new one. Now, what about the actual? The actual sum, you simply use these figures that are here. So 2760 plus 49,105 plus 17,352. So you add these. So this one will give 2760 plus 49,105 plus 17,352. So this gives 87,217. 87,217. So now you can see the error. So this is the after rounding off. That is the sum that you get. And then we have the actual sum. So to get the percentage error, we will get the error, which is 87,300. 87,300 subtract 87,217. So that is the error, the estimated, then subtract the actual, then divided by the actual, which is 87,217, and then we multiply by 100. So error divided by the actual sum, then multiply by 100. So we get this is 87,300 subtract 87,217. So this gives is an error of 83. Actually it is 83 divided by 87,217 times 100. So you divide this one by 87,217, and then we multiply by 100. So this one gives an error of 0.09 0.5165%. So that is how you're supposed to solve that question. We go to the next question, question 2. For question 2, the position vectors of R, S, and T are OR is given there, OS is given, and OT is given. You're supposed to show that R, S, and T are collinear points. They are collinear points. So what you need to do is to form any two vectors using these points that you're given here. Showing that points are collinear is simply showing that those 3 points lie on the same straight line. That is what you're supposed to show. So to show R, S, and T are collinear, we simply need to form any two vectors. For example, I can form RT is equals to certain scalar, RT ST, something like that. So RT is equals to KST, or you can form any other that you find convenient. You know, what you are simply doing is simply showing that these points lie on the same straight line. We have R, we have S, and we have T. You're showing that they lie on the same straight line. And to do that, you have to show that these vectors that you're going to form are scalar multiples of each other. And that one will show that those vectors are parallel. By showing they are parallel, that already confirms that they are collinear. And how do you show they are parallel? By showing that the vectors that you're going to form are scalar multiples of each other. So I can form, let me form these, you can form any, you don't need to form the ones that I form, provided you're using the 3 points. So you have RS is equals to KRT. So now I need to form those vectors using the ones that are given here in terms of ij and k. So let me start with RS. For RS, I'll get OS minus OR. OS is 6i, so 6, then minus 2.5j, minus 2.5, and then 3, like that. Then minus OR is 3i, then negative 1j, then 1.5k, like that. So 6 subtract 3, that will be 3, negative 2.5, plus 1, that will give, so negative minus negative 1, that will give 1.5 negative. Then 3 subtract 1.5, that will give 1.5. So that is RS. So let me get RT. So for RT, you get OT subtract OR. So OT, where is OT? OT is 4, negative 1.5, and 2. Then subtract OR. OR, where is OR? OR is 3, negative 1j, and 1.5k. Subtract this, 4 subtract 3, that is 1, negative 1.5, negative 1.5, subtract negative 1, so that will be plus 1, that will give negative 0.5. Then 2 subtract 1.5, that is 0.5, like that. So now having that, now RS, which is 3, negative 1.5, like that, is equals to K. This is RT 1, negative 0.5, and 0.5. So this will give 3, negative 1.5, 1.5 is equals to, multiply each and every element here by K. So this will give K, negative 0.5, K, and then this one is 0.5 k, like that. So when you show that k is a constant value here, like I take the first row, 3 is equals to k, I should get the same for all the others. Negative 1.5 is equals to negative 0.5. This is negative 0.5 k. So what will be k here? So k will be 1.5 divided by 0.5. Now 1.5, no, this is 1.5 divided by 0.5. You can see that one is 3, is giving 3 for that. And then the other one, the last row, 1.5 is equals to 0.5 k. Same, k is equals to 3. So for all these values here, 3 is equals to k. When you quit all these rows, corresponding elements, you get k is equals to 3. That means that therefore RS is equals to k, which is 3, RT. So those vectors that you formed using the 3 points are scalar multiples of each other, and that means that RS is parallel to RT, confirming that these points lie on the same straight line. Another thing you need to add, look at vector RS and vector RT. R is also a common point between the two vectors, confirming again that these points are collinear. So that is how you're supposed to solve that question. Let's go to question 3. The data below shows the age of 10 pupils picked at random in a primary school. So I have 6, 11, 13, 14, 8, 7, 12, 20, P, and 9. If the summation of fx squared is equals to 1360, you're supposed to determine the value of P, hence find the standard deviation. So the summation of fx squared, the summation of fx squared is given, and having that, you need to get the value of P. So for us to get fx squared, we need to get the frequency, and the frequency for all these values, as you can see, the frequency will be 1. So I will prepare a table. I don't see whether there is a value that appears twice. These are ungrouped data. So let me prepare a small table here that I'm going to use. So the first one, so the value of x is here. So this is the first one is 6, 11. So 6, 11, 13, then 14, 8, 8, 7, 12, 20, then P and 9, P and 9, like that. So for the frequency, everything is 1, because frequency means how many times does these values appear. Like 6 appears once, so all these frequency is 1. Frequency for all these is equivalent to 1. I don't see whether there is any that appears twice there. Then x squared. Let's get x squared. X squared, this is 6. Now we can get directly, let's get directly fx squared. Fx squared. So this will be 6, this will be 11, this will be 13, this will be 14, this will be 8, this is 7, this is 12. I think I've made the wrong one here. I need to square, sorry. So you square x, this is 36 times 1, so this is 36. Then 11 squared times 1, that is 121. This is 169. This is 196. This is 64. This is 49. This is 144. So you're simply squaring x, the value of x, and then you multiply by 1. So this is 400. This is a p squared, and then this one is 81. So that means when you add everything here, that is when you get fx squared. Add everything. add everything. So I'll add everything here. So you have 36 plus 121 plus 169 plus 196 plus 64 plus 49 plus 144 plus 400 plus 81. So that gives a 1260. 1260 plus p squared when you add everything there. So the summation of fx squared is 1360. So 1360 is equals to 1260 plus p squared. So make p the subject. So p squared will be this will be 100, and therefore p will be the square root of that. It will be 10. So p is 10. So we've identified the value of p. Now, how do we find the standard deviation? How do we get the standard deviation of this type of data? This is ungrouped data. So there are several ways you can do this. The standard deviation is given by the square root of the variance. How do you get the variance of these? You can use the deviation from the mean. So you can first calculate the mean. Once you get the mean, you can get the deviation from the mean. So sum of the deviation of the mean squared then divided by n. You can use that formula. So we need deviation from the mean. So deviation from the mean. So first we get the mean. We can get the mean, and to get the mean, you simply add all these 6 plus actually everything here. We need to add the summation of x divided by n. So the summation of x here. So we add all these values to get the mean and then divide by 10. So when you add 6 plus 11 plus 13 plus 14 plus 8 plus 7 plus 12 plus 20, then plus p, which is 10, plus 9, this will give 110. So the mean will be 110 divided by 10. So the mean will be 11. So now we want to get the deviation from the mean. So deviation from mean is x subtract mean, which is 11. So you simply take 6 subtract 11, that is minus 5. 11, this is 0. 13 minus 11, this is 2. 14 minus 11, that is 3. 8 minus 11, negative 3. Then this is 7 minus 11, this will give negative 4. 12 minus 11, this is 1. 20 minus 11, this is 9. Then we have 10 here. P is 10. So 10 minus 11, that is negative 1. And then 9 minus 11, that is negative 2. So that is the deviation. So now we need to get the deviation squared. We get the deviation squared. You square negative 5 squared, that is 25. This is 0. This is 4. This is 9. 9, 12, 1, 81. You're squaring the deviation 1 and 4. Then get the sum of the deviation squared. Sum of the deviation squared. So you have 25 plus this is 13 plus 21, 22 plus 22 plus 81 plus 5 Let me add this one again. So we have 25 plus 4 plus 9 plus 9 plus 12 plus, I think these are deviation. This one I did not square properly. This one, this is 9. This one here. This one here. This is negative 4 squared. That one is supposed to be 16. We confirm the other. This is 18 is okay. All the others are okay. So 25 plus 4 plus 9 plus 9 plus 16 plus 1. You need to be very careful. Accuracy is the key here for statistics. Plus 81 plus 5. So you have to confirm once you add, remember you can find yourself correcting an error that would have costed you a lot of marks. So it is always good to confirm. So you get 150. So therefore, the standard deviation is equals to the square root of summation of d squared, which is 150, divided by n, which is 10. N is the number of people, all of them are 10. So you get these as the square root of 15. So the square root of 15, which is 3.873. That is the standard deviation. So that is how you're supposed to solve that part. We can go to the next question, question 4. And go to question 4. So for question 4, you're supposed to make P the subject of the formula. Make P the subject of the formula. So the first thing you're supposed to identify is there's a number that has been raised to power half. And raising a number to power half, or 0.5, is simply getting the square root of that number. So if you have a number like, let's say a, and you raise that to power 0.5, this is the same as getting the square root of a, or it's the same as a raised to power half, is the same as getting. So for us to eliminate that power, we need to square each term. We square each term. So we square t, you get t squared. When we square everything here that is raised to power 0.5, we will remain with p squared plus n divided by m squared. When you square that, the square root sign disappears, and then square r, you get r squared. Our target is to make p the subject. So from there, the next step, get rid of this denominator here. You can multiply each term again by m squared, multiply the whole of these by m squared, multiply by m squared. So from there you have m squared, t squared is equals to, these will be, so that one will cancel this, you have p squared plus n plus r squared m squared. Our target is p, we want to make p the subject. So eliminating everything from that side, so eliminating n and r squared m, we remain with p squared is equals to m squared t squared, subtract n from both sides, and then subtract r squared m squared from both sides. So that is what you get. Then we still not having p, so this is p squared. For us to have p, you get the square root of both sides, and when you get the square root, remember to either give you positive or negative. This is m squared t squared minus n minus r squared m squared. So that is how you're supposed to make p the subject. We go to question 5. The figure below represents a flower garden ABC. A tap T is to be placed inside the triangle such that it is nearer to A than B, nearer to AC than AB, and angle ATB is obtuse. By construction, show by shading the region where where the tap can be positioned. So we have the triangle there. We analyze this statement by statement. A tap is to be placed inside the triangle such that it is nearer. So we start with this one. It is nearer to A than B. It is nearer to A than B. So for us to locate where it is supposed to be found, we are going to, this is a loci equidistant from two fixed points. The two fixed points is A and B. So to get the position, we need to bisect that line AB. That is when we'll be able to get the position of T. It should be nearer to A than B. So the first thing, we bisect. And when we bisect, of course, it's supposed to be to the left, nearer to A than B. So we bisect these. So we're supposed to bisect AB. We bisect AB. These locus of points equidistant from two fixed points. So to bisect that one, you need to open your pair of compass more than half of that line, like that, and then you mark an arc there, and then down here you mark another arc. I have to reduce this one a little bit. Then from there, with the same radius, go to B, and then that arc that you made, you cut it, and then you cut the other arc there. So by doing so, you can now join this point of intersection using a straight line like that. So that is the first thing. So that means that this point, the top is supposed to be nearer to A than B, So nearer to this point is supposed to be on this side, nearer to A than B. So it's not supposed to be on this side. So everything on this side, to the right hand side of that line, we don't need that. It's supposed to be on this side. Then we go to the other statement, and then nearer to AC than AB, nearer to AC than AB. So you can see those are two lines. So we need to get the bisector, the angle bisector. That is the locus of points equidistant from two given sides. Two given sides are AC and AB. So you need to bisect this angle, the angle between AC and AB, in order to locate where this tap is. So bisecting an angle, very easy. The angle between those two sides, you stand at A. The angle between those sides is at A. So from there, you mark an arc there, the same radius. You mark an arc here. That is how you bisect that angle. Then from there, you are free to change your compass, the length, or it can remain like that, is no issue. Then standing on that arc, you mark an arc there with the same radius. Go to the other point of you made the arc, then cut that arc like that. Then join that point like that. So that is the angle bisector. So that means that this point is supposed to be, this tap is supposed to be nearer to AC. So nearer to AC is supposed to be on this side. So already we have eliminated everything on the right side of this line that you drew. We don't want that side. Now for this line that you've drawn, we need it to be nearer to AC. So it's supposed to be on this side, on the upper side of that line. On the lower side of that line, it should not be there. It should be nearer to AC than AB. So it's supposed to be on this side. And then angle ATB is obtuse. Angle ATB is obtuse. So ATB, T is supposed to be there. An angle that is going to be subtended by AB. So an obtuse angle means that is an angle that is equal to 90. Actually, it's supposed to be equal to or greater than 90. An angle that is greater than 90 in simple terms. So for us to achieve that, we will need to construct an angle. You need to remember this property, the angle subtended by the diameter. The angle subtended by the diameter. So if we have the diameter, there, so the diameter subtends an angle of 90, the circumference. And because we need T will be somewhere there, because we need ATB to be obtuse. So it's not supposed to be less than 90, it's supposed to be more than 90. So when we construct that 90 degrees, that is going to help us so much, because we need either should be equal to 90 or greater than, equal to or greater than 90. So we need to construct that. So we shall use AB as the diameter, and we construct a circle. And to do that, of course, we need to bisect AB to get the center, of which we already have. So we have that, we did that. So we have the center. So the center is here. So standing at that center, we will simply, standing at that center, we need simply to draw circle like that. Circle. This one is not very clear, so I need to reduce this one a little bit. It's supposed to be around there, like that. Don't know why it's not coming out very clearly. The center is not okay. So just the center of that line AB, let me see. So let me get the measurement of that line AB so that I can establish the center. So that is 12.9, supposed to be around that. 12.9. So half of that so that I can draw that circle. Half of 12.9 will be around 6.5, around 6.5 or so. 6.5, around there. So just using AB as the diameter, so you just need to establish the center. You can do that by construction. I don't know why mine doesn't give that line I drew, the bisector. Is because of my tools. Yours is supposed to be extremely accurate than mine. You see, still it is not giving. Let me see whether that one is going to work. This one should be, that one should be better. That one should be better. So what you need to do is simply consider this line AB, and then get the center of that line. Get the center of that line. Using that center, stand here and then make an arc. Now, this one is going to act as the diameter. AB is going to act as the diameter. And any angle that you make with the circumference, remember the diameter subtends an angle of 90 at the circumference. That is what you're using, because we want an obtuse angle, an angle that is equal or greater to 90, greater than 90. So T is supposed to be anywhere along that arc that you've drawn there, but we only consider the part that is inside the triangle. The part that is outside the triangle, we don't require it, because that tap has to be placed inside the triangle. So the part of that arc that is inside the triangle is this one. That is what we need. Is the one that we need. So now, having identified all the areas, the area that we need where the tap will be, that satisfies all that condition. You know, we said we don't require the right hand side of this line, vertical line, and then it should be nearer to AC than AB, and then it should be obtuse. So this is actually, we need the tap should be around this region that is here. Let me shade this one properly. So it's supposed to be located inside here, inside there. That is the region. So maybe I can shade it but you can see it. So this is the region that is supposed to be. It is supposed to be there. So that is why it's supposed to be. So the whole of that part that I'm shading, and say I don't need to shade everything. So that is the part that satisfies all those conditions. So T is supposed to be lying there. So that is how you're supposed to solve that question. So let's go to question next, which is question 6. Calculate the area of the minor segment of a circle of radius 5√2 cut off by a chord of length 10 centimeters. So let me draw that. It is good to sketch that. So let me sketch. So the chord, say the chord is here. So, and the radius is supposed to be the radius. There should be the radius, which is 5√2. And then this is supposed to be 10, that chord. So you're supposed to find the area of this segment. So we find the area of that segment. Now, how do we get the area of that segment? We'll get the area of the sector, O, A, B, C. That is a sector, the whole sector, O, A, B, C. So area of the sector minus the area of this triangle, OAC. Area of triangle OAC. That is what is going to give us the area of the segment. Area of the sector OABC, subtract the area of the triangle OAC. So for the area of the sector, we need this angle that is here. How do we get that angle? We will simply drop a perpendicular from this, and this will meet this line here at 90. So this will be 5. To divide this one into 2, 5, 5. So once we get this angle, we simply multiply it by 2. And to get that angle, because this is a right angle triangle, use trig ratios. Sine of theta is equals to the opposite divided by 5√2, the hypotenuse. So theta will be the sine inverse of this will be 1/√2, because 5 will divide out. So this one, when you work it out using a calculator, this one is going to give you 45 degrees. And so that means the whole of that angle will be 90. So the whole of this angle here will be 90 degrees. So the area of the sector, how do you get the area of the sector? We get it by theta over 360 pi r squared. So the angle at the center, which is 90 divided by 360 times pi times the radius squared. The radius is 5√2 squared. So that is the area of the sector. Then we subtract the area of the triangle. The area of the triangle, we get it by simply this formula, 1/2 AB sine theta, where AB is the 2 radii. So 1/2 times AB, which is 5√2 squared. That is 5√2 times 5√2 times the sine of the angle between them, which is sine of 90. And remember, the sine of 90 is 1. So let us work out these. So you work out these 90. So this one will be 90 multiplied by 22. Then 5√2 squared will be 5 squared, that is 25, times √2 squared, that will be 50, times 50. Then divided by 360 divided by 7, that will be 39. So this will give 39.29 centimeters squared. Then the other one, there is 5√2 squared, that will be 50, times sine 90, which is 1. Then we divide by 2, that will be 25. So when you subtract these, you get 39.29, subtract 25, this will give 14.29 centimeters squared. So that is how you're supposed to solve that part. We go to the next question. So the next question is question 7. Question 7 is a question on trigonometric equations. So you're supposed to solve for x in this equation. 3 cosine squared of x plus sine x plus 1 is equals to 0. So solve these. You need to first ensure that everything is uniform. You can see you have cosine and sine. So we can change cosine squared by using this sine squared x plus cos squared x. This is a trigonometric identity. It should give 1. So that means cos squared x is equals to 1 subtract sine squared x. So when you substitute that, you'll get 3. Cos squared x is the same as 1 subtract sine squared x plus sine x plus 1 is equals to 0. So opening the brackets, you get 3 minus 3 sine squared x plus sine x plus 1 is equals to 0. Then you can reorganize this one. This is negative 3 sine squared x plus sine x, then 3 plus 1, that is 4, is equals to 0. Now eliminating this by multiplying each term by negative, you get 3 sine squared x, multiplying each term by negative, this is minus sine x minus 4 is equals to 0. Now you can see that this one resembles a quadratic equation, and to solve this one easily, you can let sine x be represented by y, so that now you'll have 3y squared minus y minus 4 is equals to 0. Now you can solve this one easily, but you remember after getting the value of y that you had assigned y to be sine x. So look for two numbers whose product is negative 12 and sum is negative 1. This is negative 4 and 3. Yeah, negative 4 and 3. So we have 3y squared minus this is plus 3y minus 4y minus 4 is equals to 0. So 3y, so this is y plus 1 minus 4 y plus 1 is equals to 0. I think that one is okay. So this one will give 3y minus 4 in this multiply by y plus 1 is equals to 0. So this one gives you two values of y. So 3y minus 4 is equals to 0. So for this one, y is equals to 4 thirds, or y plus 1 is equals to 0. So y is equals to negative 1. So we have these two values of y. Now using the first one, remember now that y was sine x. Don't forget this, y was sine x. So the first solution, y is equals to 4 thirds. You should know that that one is sine x, which is y is equals to 4 thirds. So you need to get these angles now. Now, when you look at these, sine of 4 divided by 3 is not possible to get such. So you're going to ignore these. It is not possible to get the sine inverse of 4 thirds. It is not possible. So we remain with this angle here. So y is equals to negative 1. So that means sine x is equals to negative 1. So where do we find this? Where is sine negative? Is sine negative? Sine is negative in and the range given 0 to 360 degrees. The angle is supposed to be there. So this is 0. Actually, why is sine negative? Sine is negative here in the third and the fourth quadrant. So in the fourth quadrant, we may not have any angle there. So because sine of you can test by getting the sine inverse of positive 1, but you remember you need where you are just using the negative sign to tell you where you're going to get the angle in the quadrants. So that is the meaning of that negative. It helps you to identify in which quadrant is sine negative, and it is here. It is the third and the fourth. So once you get the sine inverse of 1, you get 90. So but 90 gives you, when you get the sine of 90, it gives you 1. So which one will give you negative 1? So from 90 you'll think over 270. So sine of 270 is the one that is going to satisfy that, because you want the angle that will be in this quadrant. So from 90, 180 is not going to give you that. So the next one will be 270. So to get the angle that is there, you simply take 180 plus 90. This is acute angle here. So you get 270. So we only have one angle there. X is equals to 270. We don't have any other, and it is within that range. So when you get the sign of 270, it gives you -1. So that is how you're supposed to solve that question. We go to the next one. The figure below shows an arc of a circle through 3 points, A, B, and C. Calculate the coordinates of the center of the circle. The coordinates of the center of the circle. Now, the property that is going to help you here to get the center of the circle is, if this is an arc of the circle, you need to know that when you draw any two chords that touches two parts of the circumference, like here, you'll have a chord. You can get a chord here from this point. That is a chord. And then we also have another chord here. So when you construct perpendicular bisectors of those chords, perpendicular bisectors of these chords, the first chord and the perpendicular bisector of the other chord, they meet at the center of the circle. So this will be the center of the circle. That is a very important property to note, that in a circle, given two chords, any two chords, you get the perpendicular bisectors of those chords. Those perpendicular bisectors will meet at the center of the circle. So this is going to help us. So we will begin by getting the equation of this line. In order to get this point of intersection, we'll get the equation of this line, and then we get the equation of this line. And then to get where they meet, we solve those two equations simultaneously to get the value of x and y. So how do we get the equation of this line? I will name this line 1. We'll name this line 1 and this one line 2. So the first thing is getting this point. We need a point. The gradient, we can get it from the other line. So we first get the midpoint. So midpoint of line 1. So midpoint of line 1. So line 1 midpoint. You know how we get the midpoint? The formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So x1 is 2 plus x2. This is 3 divided by 2. Then y1 is 5 plus y2 is 8 divided by 2. So this one will give 5 divided by 2. That will be 2.5. This is 13 divided by 2. That will be 6.5. So that is the midpoint. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Once we do that, we need the gradient. And how do we get the gradient of that line? We'll be assisted by the gradient of this line. You know, when these two lines are perpendicular, these two lines are perpendicular, and that means the product of the gradient should be -1. So if I get the gradient of this line, so m1, the gradient will be change in y, that is 8 minus 5. Then by change in x, 3 minus 2. So this will give 3 divided by 1. So the gradient is 3. So the gradient of this line, m1, is 3. So therefore, the gradient of this line, which is perpendicular, should be -1/3. Why? Because when two lines are perpendicular, when you get the products of their gradient, you should get -1. So the gradient is -1/3. So now, to get the equation, you simply get another general point. You get the equation of that line. So use this point xy and 2.5, 6.5. So change in y, which is y minus 6.5. Change in x, x minus 2.5 is equals to -1/3. So this will give 3y when you cross multiply. 3y minus 6.5 times 3 19.5 is equals to, this will be negative x plus 2.5. Reorganizing this equation, we get 3y plus x is equals to, this will be 2.5 plus 19.5. That will give 22. That is equation 1, the equation of line 1. Now let's go to the equation of line 2. Equation of line 2. Equation of line 2. So for line 2, we start by getting the midpoint. So 3, 8, we're using 3, 8 and 4, 10 to get the midpoint. 3 plus 4 divide by 2, then 8 plus 10 divide by 2. So the midpoint here will be 7 divided by 2, 3.5, 18 divided by 2, that is 9. Then we get the gradient of that line. Change in y, this is 10 subtract 8. Change in x, 4 subtract 3. So this will give 2 divided by 1. So the gradient of this line therefore is 2. So that means the gradient of this other line should be negative half. Should be like that. So now we should get the equation of the line passing through 3.59 and the other point is xy and having the gradient of negative half. So very fast. So change in y minus 3.5 divided by change in x, which is x subtract 3.5. Now I made a mistake there. Change in y will be y subtract 9, then x subtract 3.5 would be negative half the gradient. So cross multiply. So this will give 2y minus 18 is equals to negative x plus this is 3.5. So this should give 2y plus x is equals to 18 plus 3.5, that will give 21.5. So this is equation 2. Now having the equation of line 1 and 2, we solve them simultaneously in order to get the point of intersection. So the equation 1 was, where is equation 1? It is here. So 3y plus x is equals to 22. Solve them simultaneously. I can eliminate x because I can see x is uniform. 2y minus 3y minus y is equals to 21.5. 21.5 minus 22, that is giving negative 0.5. So that means that y is equals to 0.5. So if that is y, what is x? For us to get x, I can use this equation. To substitute. So 2y plus x is equals to 21.5. So 2y, y is 0.5, so this will be 2 times 0.5, that will be 1 plus x is equals to 21.5. So x is equals to 20.5. So therefore, the center of the circle will be given by x, which is 20.5, 0.5. So that is how we get the center. We go to question 9. Carol deposited 1850 for 18 months at an interest rate of 16% per annum, compounded half yearly. How much interest did she pay at the end of the period? So something to note here, 18 months. So here the principal is the amount deposited. Principal is 1850. Then this is compounded half yearly, meaning that the rate is going to change. The rate is given per annum, so you have to convert this one because here interest is earned half yearly after, so in 1 year 2 times. So you're going to take the rate and then you divide by 2. So the rate will be 8% half yearly, because this one is per year. The rate is per year there. Then the period of payment is 18 months, but we shall take 18 months because this interest is being earned half yearly. That means half yearly, after every 6 months there's interest. So to get the period that you're going to use, we divide by 6. So we shall have the periods of earning the interest to be 3 or 18 months. So interest is earned after every 6 months, that is half yearly. That is all it's supposed to do. Something else that we need to get. So now this one will help us to get the amount. We are going to use this formula. Amount is equals to principal 1 plus rate of 100, then n. So amount will be given by the principal, which is 1850, then 1 plus the rate is 8%, then the period is 3. So this will give 1850. Then we work out this 1 plus 8.8 over, so that will be 1.08. 1.08. We get the cube of that. So this will be 1.259712. So I have got 1 plus 0.08, then I cube that. Then when you multiply this one by 1850, you get 23.30 and 47 cents. So that is the amount. You've not answered the question. The question is how much interest. So this is the amount that will be accumulated after that period. So to get the interest will be given by the amount minus the amount deposited. That is the principal, the initial amount. So the amount after the interest, which is 2300, 2330 and 47, then subtract the amount deposited, which is 1850. So minus 1850. So that gives an interest of 480 and 47 cents. So that is how we're supposed to solve that. We go to the next question, question 10. Now for question 10, the volume V of a cylinder varies jointly as its height h and the square of its radius r. Let's write that relationship. So the volume V varies jointly as its height and as the square of the radius, like that. Then once we remove this sign of proportionality, we introduce a constant, so we have hr squared, like that. Calculate the percentage increase in volume when radius increases by 5% and the height increases by 10%. So what will be the new radius? New radius after the increase, it increases by 5%, so it will be 105% of r. And remember, this one has to be squared. So when you square that, you'll get, this is 1.05 squared. So that will give 1.1025 r squared. Then the height, the new height, the height increases by 10, so it will be 110% height. So the new height will be 1.1 h. So now with that, having new r and having new, let me use a small r here, having new r and new h, we will have new v. So the new v will be now k multiplied by the new r, which is 1.1025 r squared, then times the new h, 1.1 h. So this one will give 1.1025 multiplied by 1.1. So that gives 1.21275 k r squared h, like that. So that is the new v. So now for us to get the percentage change, we need to get the change. So this is the original, that is the original, and then this one is the new. So you get the change by what is happening from here. So the change, so this is a percentage change, will be given by the change, which is 1.21275 k r squared h minus the original, which is k h r squared. That is the change. The new subtract the original, then divided by the original. The original is k h r squared, then multiply by 100. So when you subtract these, 1.2175 minus this is like 1, so this will be 0.21275 k r h r squared h, and then divided by k h r squared multiplied by 100. So this one, you notice that this is uniform, so that one cancels. So you have 0.21, you multiply this one by 100, you get 21.275% as the percentage change. Question 11. Find the positive number m for which the integration of 4x cubed with respect to x from 1 to m is equals to 80. So you need to integrate these. You integrate 4x cubed with respect to x and the limit from 1 to m. So when you integrate 4x cubed, you get 4x raised to power 4 divided by 4. So this one will give x to power 4 plus c. So that is what you get. So when you integrate that, you'll get x to power 4 plus the constant, then the limit 1 to m. So you begin by substituting m in this expression here. So substitute m in place of x, you just substitute that one with m. So this will be m raised to power 4, then plus c, and then now substitute 1, you get 1 plus c, 1 plus c, like that. And this one should give 80. So when you subtract these, you get m to power 4 subtract 1 is equals to 80. And this one, m raised to power 4, will be 81. So you get the fourth root of m, which is m, then the fourth root of 81, the fourth root of 81 will give 3. So this one can give either plus or negative 3. So find the positive number. So you're supposed to find the positive number because you have two values. One is positive, the other one is negative. M should therefore be positive 3. Now after solving that, we go to the next question. We go to the next question. The next one is question 12. A shear parallel to x-axis maps point 5,1 onto 3,1. Calculate the shear factor, hence the shear matrix. You calculate the shear factor, hence the shear matrix. Now to solve this question, you need to understand the shear that represents that is movement parallel to x-axis. Shear matrix that represent the movement parallel to x-axis, and with scale factor k. So there are two ways of doing this. One, you can use that matrix. So the matrix that represent that type of a shear is given by, for this one, you have to understand this one either from the unit square. That one can help you to get this matrix. So we have 1, 0, k, 1. So this is the matrix of shear parallel to the x-axis, shear that is parallel to the x-axis with scale factor, or the shear factor of k. So now having these, we can be able to get k because you're supposed to get the shear factor. Shear factor is k. So you simply take this matrix and pre-multiply with the object point, which is 5, 1. And this one should give you the image, which is 3, 1. So multiply these. 1 times 5, this one will be 5 plus k. Then the second row, this will be 0 plus 1. And that one should give 3, 1, like that. So when you equate 5 plus k, 5 plus k is equals to 3, you get k will be 3 subtract 5, that will be -2. So that is one way which you can get the shear factor. So we have another method, method 2, whereby this one, if you have a point, let's say you have a point xy, and that one undergoes this type of shear parallel to the x-axis, then this point is mapped onto x, these are plus ky, then y. So we shall use one point that we have. So we have these point is 5, 1. So 5, 1. So 5, 1, that is the one that is mapped onto this point. So x is 5. So we have 5, and when you map that point, remember we have the image. The image is 3, 1. So the image is 3, 1. So we have x is 5, then plus k is the shear factor. So that will be, then you have y is 1. So k multiplied by y, that is k times 1, that will give k. And then y will be 1. So this will be the image. So a point xy that undergoes shear parallel to the x-axis with shear factor k is mapped onto this point. Already we have this image 5 plus k, 1. The image of that is given as 3, 1. Is given as 3, 1. So you simply need to compare. So this x coordinate corresponds to this. So you have 5 plus k is equals to 3, and therefore k will still give you -2. So you can use this method, method 1, or you can use method 2. We go to question 13. The figure below is that of a circumcircle of a triangle ABC. The radius of the circle is 5 centimeters. Given that ABC is equal to 70 and ACB is 40, calculate the area of triangle ABC. You calculate the area of triangle ABC. So automatically we can get this angle. This is 40. This is 70 plus 40. That is 110. So the remaining angle here should be 70 to make the sum of the interior angles in a triangle to be 180. Now with that, you can see that this one is an isosceles triangle because the base angles are equal. And we have the radius. The radius is given. So what is going to help us here is the sine rule. Remember the sine rule, A over sine A is equals to B over sine B is equals to C over sine C, is equivalent to 2 radian. So this is what is going to help us. So we only need get, for example, if I get one of this side BC, that will automatically help me because I will have obtained AC as well. And then to get the area, I can do it so easily. So to get either of this side, either side AC or side BC, this is what I'm going to do. I will use like B, we have this side opposite B is small b. So I'll use the sine rule. So B over sine of the angle that is opposite that, which is sine 70, is equals to 2r, and the radius is 5. So this will give B divided by sine 70 is equals to 10, like that. Now having that, now we can get B. So B will be given by 10 sine 70. 10 sine 70. And 10 sine 70 gives 9.3. This one gives 9.397 centimeters. So that means even the other side, so this side is 9.397 and also this side 9.397. So with that, now to get the area of triangle ABC, I can use this formula, a half AB sine theta, whereby we have AB are these two sides. You have two sides and an included angle which is 40. So times 9.397 squared times the sine of the angle between those sides, because you say this one is an isosceles triangle, sine of 40. So this will give, so 9.397 squared times sine of 40, and then you divide that out by 2. So this one gives 28.38. So this gives 28.38 centimeters squared. So that is how you're supposed to solve that question. We go to the next question, 14. The table below shows the frequency distribution of marks scored by students in a test. Draw an algebraic curve or algebra to represent this data. So look at the data, marks 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. So one observation you make is that the classes are overlapping. For example, when you look at the first class, 0 to 10, so 10 is the upper class limit of the first class, which is the lower class limit of the second class. So the classes are overlapping. 10 is here, 10 is here, 20, you can see that. So in that case, when you're getting the, for this case, when you're drawing the algebraic curve, you will not use the boundaries. You use the limits, the class limits the way they are. You not use the boundaries where you take 10.5, 20.5, no. So another thing that you need to know when you're drawing the algebraic curve or the cumulative frequency curve, you plot cumulative frequency to be here, cumulative frequency against the class limit. In this case, the class limit, not the class boundaries. So let me introduce this column, cumulative frequency. The first one is 2, 2 plus 4, 6, 6 plus 8, 14, 14 plus 4, 18, 18 plus 2, 20. So for that one, the scale that I'm going to use, I can use a scale of 1 centimeter to represent can use 1 centimeter to represent 2, the y-axis. So for the cumulative frequency, so we have 0, we have 2, we have 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I don't see up to 20, then 18, and then we have 20. That is the cumulative frequencies. Then for the classes, I can begin from 10. These are 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So I can try to make the classes to be a little bit more. You can see that scale is so congested. So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I think that one is okay. And then I think that one is okay. 0 to 10, you can see the sizes are okay. So here we have the marks. And then here the number of students. So the first class, 2, we're plotting that on the marks are 10, 2, 10, 2. There it is. And then the other one is 26. Because of 20, we have 6, 6 is here. And then you have the other one is 30, 14. And then 40, 18. And then 50, 20. Like that. So you can see the points are there. So the first class, 10. The cumulative frequency is 2. The next one, cumulative frequency 20, 6, The other one is 30, 14. This is 40, 18. And then the last one is there. So from there, you can join these points using a smooth curve. And join them using a smooth curve. So I may not be able to draw a very smooth one based on the tools that I'm using here, but I'll just try to, as much as possible, ensure that I guide you how to do that. So don't leave this cumulative frequency hanging. Join it to the starting point like that. That one will be okay. So that is how you draw the cumulative frequency curve. We go to the next question. A solution whose volume is 80 liters is made up of 40% of water and 60% alcohol. When X liters of water are added, what percentage of alcohol, the percentage of alcohol drops to 40%. Find the value of X. So solution is made up of 80 liters. And these 80 liters is composed of water. Water makes 40%. So let us get the water, liters of water. So because water is that is 40%, 40 over 100 times 80. This will give us the number of liters of water, which will be 32 liters for water. And then for alcohol is 60%. So 60% of 80 liters. So this gives 48 liters. Now, when X liters of water are added, so initially, remember we have 32 liters. So when we add X liters, then the percentage of alcohol drops to 40%. So new percentage of alcohol, it drops to 40%. So that means new percentage of water will therefore be 60%. So water is going to rise by 20%, because if alcohol drops to 40%, that means water will be 60%. So that is after adding X liters. So what happens is this: once you add X liters of water, you also change the total volume, which is 80 liters. That one will also change because you have added X. It's also changed. So now when you want to get the new percentage of water, you're going to use the new liters of water, 32 plus X, divided by the total amount of liters. Remember, it changed because you added X liters, so the total also changed by X liters. So this is 80 plus X. And then when you multiply this by 100, that is what is going to give you 60%. So the liters of water, the new liters of water divided by the total amount in liters times 100, that will give 60%. And this one you can also write it as 32 plus X over 80 plus X is equals to, when you divide both sides by 100, this will be 60 over 100, which is still the same thing. So from there, this is what you can do. You can cross multiply here so that you can find the value of X. So you have 100, 32 plus X is equals to 60, 80 plus X. So this will give 320 plus 100X is equals to 4800 plus 60X. So like terms together, 100X subtract 60X, that will give 40X is equals to, this one is 3200, 32 times 100. So you have 4800 minus 3200. So this one will give 40X is equals to This will give 1600, and therefore x will be 1600 divided by 40, and this one will give 40. So the new liters that were added is 40 liters. So that is how you're supposed to work out that question. We go to the last question in that section. The last question is here, and this one you're supposed to state the transformation that would map the function y is equals to sine x onto y is equals to 3 sine x plus 30. Now, which transformation is going to map y is equal to sine x into 3 sine x plus 30? Now, one thing that you notice will happen is happening to this curve. You have these 3. So what does that one mean? Remember, 3 represents the amplitude. That one represents the amplitude. So that means the amplitude means that this will be a stretch which is vertical, a vertical stretch, that is 1. The amplitude of 3 means this is a vertical stretch with a stretch factor, stretch factor of 3. So that is the first thing. Then we have another change that is here, which is 30. 30 means this point, the value is positive 30. When it is positive 30, that means this is a translation to the left. If it is positive 30, if it is negative 30, it is translation to the right. And for you to give a translation, you have to give the translation vector. So positive 30 is translation to the left, and the translation vector to the left is written as this is negative 30, 0. So those are the 2 transformations that you can be able to identify. If you are to sketch that graph, you'd see that the amplitude, which is 3, that is a stretch. That means y is equal to sine x has been stretched by 3 units. Can be either vertical or horizontal, because we give only positive values for the stretch, for the amplitude. And then for that angle, which is positive 30, we take also the positive. This is it can be either positive or negative. So it can be either positive or negative. This angle is referred to as the face angle, and that one shows the curve has been shifted either to the right or to the left by a certain angle. So in this case, the curve has been shifted to the left, if it is positive, to the left by an angle of 30 degrees. And then that translation vector, we write it like this. If it was negative 30, the translation vector would have been 30, 0.